Breaking news coming in the last couple of minutes because Mustafa Ali has announced he is no longer working with WWE. A breaking, developing news story that's seemingly come out of nowhere. Plus, more on the breaking news story earlier on this afternoon that SmackDown is returning to USA Network. We've got updates on how much NBC Universal paid to bring the blue brand back to the network. Plus, it could mean the end for Raw and NXT on NBC Universal platforms. This is a massive developing news story. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling, and what a day we're having for breaking news stories. And another one has just broken in the last couple of minutes at the time of recording this video, and that is that WWE superstar, I guess now former WWE superstar, Mustafa Ali has announced he is no longer working with WWE. Details are still quite few and far between right now, but Mustafa Ali has said that he is no longer working with WWE. Now, Mustafa Ali took to social media to say that he is no longer working with WWE. Quote, "I look forward to the future," he writes as well. Now, actually, there was a typo in his tweet because as you can see on the screen right there, it says, "I am longer working with WWE. I look forward to the future. Thank you, Adil." Of course, his real name. But he actually then clarified, he meant to say, "I am no longer working with WWE." So that's kind of the latest when it comes to the tweet that was put out there as well, saying that, again, he looks forward to the future. Of course, Ali has been with the company for quite some time. He signed with WWE in 2016 after competing in the Cruiserweight Classic. It's been a tumultuous time, though, for the WWE star, now former WWE star. Of course, in January of 2022, Ali requested his release from WWE. It was not granted at the time. Ali remained a consistent presence on television throughout the years, and Ali actually returned to NXT this past May, entering the NXT North American Championship picture. This is when it gets absolutely fascinating because Ali was still actively in NXT plans. He was scheduled for the upcoming NXT Premium Live event to challenge Dominic Mysterio for the NXT North American Championship. In fact, with Dominic Mysterio facing off against Dragon Lee this coming Monday on Raw, it had been announced on NXT this past week that Mustafa Ali would be on Raw this week to oversee the match, possibly get involved to ensure that his title opportunity wasn't compromised going into No Mercy. So as I mentioned, this is kind of really come out of left field. Now, again, we don't really know a lot of the details surrounding this. We don't know if, again, it's a situation whereby he requested his release, it was granted by WWE. We don't know if it's a case of WWE beginning to make talent cuts. As of right now, no other name has been announced to have been released, or it's not been tweeted out or posted by anyone that they've been released by WWE. So at the moment, we just don't know a lot of or all of the details. But what we do know, according to Mustafa Ali himself, he is no longer working with WWE. That is what he is saying right now, and he's saying that he's looking forward to the future. Now, it's pro wrestling, you never know, things could be at work, things could be, he could say, "I'm no longer working with WWE because I'm working with TKO," or something like that. I don't know, but it seems pretty serious that he would put out there at the time. And again, it's a massive and developing news story. If we get any more information on this, if we get any more information, if it's the beginning of talent cuts, if we get any more information that he requested his release, it was granted, if we get any more information that it might have been linked to the return of, I don't know, Vince McMahon getting back in creative control of WWE. Of course, he did clash with Vince McMahon, and that was part of the reason he requested his release back in January of 2022. Reportedly, he was offended by an idea that was pitched to him by WWE Creative at the time. But again, these things are kind of hearsay at the moment. We really just don't know really what's going on at the moment when it comes to Ali. But that is a breaking story right now, is that he is no longer working with WWE. At least that is what he is saying on social media. Now, switching gears back to SmackDown, the big story this afternoon was, of course, SmackDown returning to USA Network. Leaving Fox in October of 2024, one half of the media rights negotiations for WWE being completed. Of course, WWE announced a blockbuster new TV rights deal with NBC Universal that will bring SmackDown back to USA Network in 2024. But there's ramifications, and there is a knock-on effect of the blue brand going back to USA Network, and it actually has a big deal, a big lot to do with Monday Night Raw. Now, the Wall Street Journal is reporting that the SmackDown deal, reportedly in terms of monetary value, is equal to what USA Network would have had to pay for Raw and NXT together. But now we're getting conflicting reports that indicate an uncertain but positive future for that WWE television brand. Now, the Hollywood Reporter indicates that due to the new deal for SmackDown, Raw and NXT will no longer be airing on USA Network. They write, quote, while the new deal will bring WWE to NBC primetime and SmackDown to USA on Friday nights, it will also mean the end of Raw and NXT on USA. Now, the Sports Business Journal, which we spoke about earlier on, is reporting that NBCU is still considered one of the frontrunners to renew its television deal with Monday Night Raw, but there is strong interest from other major media players such as Disney and Amazon. To emphasize the level of uncertainty, it was noted that all options are on the table for Raw's future home, including moving to a different night, no longer being Monday Night Raw, saying, quote, NBCU is considered the frontrunner to renew its Raw deal. After all, Raw has anchored Monday nights on USA for the better part of 20 years. USA also carries WWE NXT, NBC carries the WWE Network on Peacock, and it's just cut this SmackDown deal. But even as the market for sports rights has tightened due to cord-cutting trends, other companies have engaged in talks, including Disney and Amazon. Sources say there is potential for Raw to move off of Monday nights as part of a new deal, though nothing has been decided just yet. Of course, Raw premiered on the USA Network in January of 1993 and stayed on the network until 2000. It had a brief stint on TNN and Spike TV before moving back to USA Network in 2005, and the show has remained there ever since. But now we could be seeing Raw move away from USA Network once more. As I mentioned, we now have more details as well about just actually how much NBC Universal is reportedly paying WWE to bring SmackDown back to USA Network and air on Friday nights as opposed to Tuesdays like it used to prior to the deal with Fox. As mentioned, The Hollywood Reporter broke the news on Thursday morning that Friday Night SmackDown would be heading back to the USA Network on a new media rights deal in 2024. WWE's Blue brand has landed on various channels since its debut in 1999 and finally joined Monday Night Raw on the network in 2016. 3 years later, of course, WWE announced a massive deal that would see SmackDown land on network television thanks to a $1 billion deal with Fox. SmackDown has consistently been WWE's most watched weekly show ever since it arrived on Fox in October of 2019. But while a return to cable could result in smaller viewership, WWE's new deal with NBC Universal will lead to exponentially more money. According to the Wall Street Journal, the 5-year deal was valued at $1.4 billion, a 40% increase from the Fox contract. Quote, even at the moment when content spending has never been more scrutinized in the industry, premium properties like WWE with a massive following and huge engagement will always win out, Mark Shapiro told the outlet. Now, going back to Raw and NXT, what does this mean for their future when it comes to USA Network? Well, again, it's kind of divided depending on who you listen to. There is already some debate over what's next for Raw and NXT, both of which are currently housed on USA Network, but have their TV deals expiring next year as well. As I mentioned, the Hollywood Reporter's report indicated that both shows were leaving the channel and negotiations with traditional linear networks, streaming services, and unexpected players were all interested. The Wall Street Journal has really echoed that report as well, stating that the cost of SmackDown put NBCU out of the running to take the other two shows. But as we spoke about previously, John Urand of the Sports Business Journal is saying that still they remain the front runner to actually keep Raw and NXT on the network. So right now, we've still got this kind of back and forth about what's going on. So again, the big breaking news really is the Mustafa Ali news. In addition to that, when it comes to SmackDown as well, reportedly $1.4 billion, a 40% increase on the deal they had with Fox to bring SmackDown to USA Network. Reportedly, they're going to stick with Friday nights as opposed to moving to a different night. But because of the cost of bringing SmackDown to USA Network, NBC Universal might be out of the running when it comes to Raw and NXT. And it could mean that Raw and NXT as a package deal go to another network, another cable network, go to network television, or possibly go to a streaming service. And Raw could, for the first time in its 30-year history, be permanently on a different night than Monday. So what are your thoughts on this developing story? What are your thoughts on Mustafa Ali? What are your thoughts on the latest when it comes to Raw and NXT, possibly leaving USA Network as well? Let me know your thoughts about it. If we get any more news, we're on top of it today. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, and I'll speak with you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.